Bright smile, man. Bright smile. That's what I recognize you as. A man with a bright smile. You know that?
Of course.
I see you on your social media. I see you in public, and you always got this bright smile to you, man. And I think that's an excellent attribute to have, because a smile can do a lot for some people, man. So keep up that bright smile because, you just have a radiant energy that comes off of you, man.
Thank you very much. Actually, I don't used to smile before.
Really?
But when I discovered myself as a professional artist, I was able to wear the smile everywhere I go. And I could remember vividly, in most of my picture, I used to stand like a figure one, not smiling, too serious in the picture. And I have this great artist that told me, baby boy, you need to be smiling. I said, okay, I just don't want to force myself to smile. He said, you need to create more of the heart. The more I started creating the artworks, I begin to find joy. And each and every pictures I take, or even while I'm communicating with people, I always smile, easily without forcing myself. Because art is so therapeutic. It brings so much joy. It doesn't cost a lot, but it achieves a lot.
It's very interesting to me that you think that it wasn't until you started making art that you started smiling more. You know what I mean? Like, was there a little bit to you that, maybe withheld that smile? Like, I can speak on my behalf. I was one of those individuals who didn't smile a lot, right? But the reason I didn't smile a lot was because I was self-conscious about my gap, you see?
Okay.
So I have a gap. So I was like real subconscious about it. And like, I didn't like it when I was growing up. I remember doing a lot of photos like that. I'd be smiling, but I wouldn't show my teeth, right? And then as, you grow up in life, you start to put things together. And, I really feel like the gap in my tooth is a character trait of mine, if you would, because I would consider myself a comical character, someone who's funny, and loose goose, just having a great time. And a smile with this is just like, it's fitting, it's fitting for the character. So for me, that was the turning point for me. Was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to embrace a smile and, just rock with it. Like, I remember when I was growing up, I would really dislike when I'd be speaking and I'd be like, yeah, so, like I'd be speaking and I'd have the little whistle. And I used to really dislike that. And then one day I found myself trying to pass some time and I would, and now that's all I do. I'd be like, hey, hello, come here. Hey, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things that was for me. I just realized that smiling was, it's good. It's a beautiful smile. People enjoy the smile. So I tend to keep it on my face, So I'm happy to hear that art has brought that smile out for you, man. I really am.
Yeah. Let me tell you this, that you are really embodied with the epitome of smile. The reason why I'm saying this is in Africa, if you have a tooth gap, we call people like that AG wumi. It's something that people, when they see you with that, they appreciate it so much and they value it.
Really?
Yes. So because when you have something like, even most parents really want their kids to have the gap. That is one of the interesting things about African culture.
Wow. I love that. I honestly, and that's what I'm also excited about for this conversation between you and I is learning about the culture, the heritage, just the differences between here and there. As you just mentioned, the gap is valued, they really appreciate that. So thank you for that gem of knowledge, man. I got to go. They love me over there, huh?
Yes, of course. Even over here, my daughter has a tooth gap and her mom is trying to say, we're going to fix the gap. I said, no, don't fix it. Leave it like that. It's an embodiment from heaven. We believe that you brought that from heaven. And don't forget what I told you earlier, that is an epitome of beauty, an epitome of smile. So it's a good thing. So I will definitely address you as a jiwumi. It means the gap, somebody who is embodied with the beauty of smile and welcoming and appealing face. And don't forget, the head is very important to the body. And that is where the smile dwells, Yes. So that is the definition of a jiwumi.
A Jew of me. Am I saying that correct?
Yes.
A Jew of me. Okay, yes. I'm gonna have to ask you to write that out so I can have that definition just in the back pocket. Thank you for that. That's a beautiful piece of culture that I didn't know. But everyone, welcome to the Middleman Podcast. I am the man in the middle, and today I am joined by Sunday Olaniyi. Sunday, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You look beautiful. Your outfits are absolutely amazing, man. If you guys can see his shoes right now, let me tell you, these shoes are crisp, and he smells even better. Yeah, as you guys see, we have pieces of his art on the wall. And let me just tell you, his art right here is unbelievable. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with you because you and I had a run-in at First Friday.
Yes.
First Friday of March. And my buddy Nick Runza and we did a vlog, and we showed up to the Urban Coworks. The Urban Coworks. And shout out Urban Coworks if you haven't been there. It's one of those places that if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or just a student who just needs some alone time and want to get secluded in a workspace, that is definitely the spot to go. So as I mentioned, I saw you at the First Friday in March. And I remember when I walked into that place, I went in there for Sachiko. Shout out the artist Sachiko. She is a blessed soul. We absolutely love the episode that we had with her. But as
She's an amazing artist.
Beautiful, absolutely amazing. Like, very pure to the heart. She has given me a piece, which is off to the side right now, but she titled it Middleman, and she made me a piece to commemorate the show that we had, because her show is just absolutely beautiful. I think a lot of people would benefit from hearing the conversation that her and I had about being a human and being kind and expressing yourself, because she really has a lot of emotion with her, and you can see that through her art,
Yes, and that is where the heart dwells. Art comes from the within.
Super grateful for her. Super, because if it weren't for her, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
So as I said, Sunday, like I was at the First Friday, and you weren't there yet. And I remember just looking at your pieces of art. The first one I saw was a self-portrait of you holding flowers.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, like, wow, like that is just like the word of the day for that vlog was protruding. It's all protruding out to you. It's absolutely amazing, your work. And then, to be able to sit there and speak with you, I was like, no, like we have to get you on the show. Yeah. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your day for joining me here, man. It's a pleasure.
And here I am.
Yes, here you are, man. Here you are. And, we're going to have a fantastic show. So going back to that, I want to hear about, we were talking earlier about, your culture, where you're from. You had mentioned you are not from this country. Would you mind giving me a little bit of your background so people know who you are? And I'm also curious as to what brought you here.
Yeah. My name is Sunday Olaniyi. I'm a contemporary artist. I love art. I teach art. I talk art. I wear hats, and everything about me is art, and I'm loving it. I'm from Africa, West Africa, Nigeria, and I grew up in the ancient city of Osogbo, popularly known as the land of indigo. So I'm from Africa, and the reason why I'm here in America is to expand my voice. People ask me that questions a lot. Mm-hmm. Why are you here? I tell them as an artist, I have to spread the message. I have to expand my voice. I don't want to limit my voice to my locality, to my country, to my continent, but I want to take my heart globally. And when I say globally, it's not only about exhibiting my heart, it's all about teaching people about what life is. And based on where I am coming from, where I am now, and where I am heading to.
Yes. You hit all the points right there, where you come from, where you're at now, and where you're headed to. Let me ask you, was it a difficult decision for you to leave home to come over here, or was that something that you had planted in your mind early on?
Well, it's not a difficult decision to leave home, because even in life, it is a good thing not to be stagnant. Mm-hmm. It's good to take a step. Sometimes it could be very hard to take that step, because you have family back home, you have to think about your friends back home, and taking that step is not an easy task. But at the same time, being an artist that is visionary, I just want to explore the world and to let people understand the importance of art and how art can change the society at last.
I'm sorry, there's a phone ringing in the background. Could you get that for me, please? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, my apologies. Sorry. That threw me off there. So you were saying you had left home, and it wasn't a difficult decision because you wanted to venture and you wanted to spread the message of art. What is your message within art? That's actually a really good point. What is the message that you're trying to spread throughout the world through your art that you showcase here?
The message I'm trying to spread is the message of love, friendship, ethics, tenacity, and how people can be better for themselves and also be good values to society at large. Because don't forget, art is a kind of things that that bring peoples together, that unite people, and that also help the society to grow and make people to have respect for others. And her art is not only having respect for the living things, also having respect for the non-living things as well. Because don't forget, everything that is in this life is art.
Art brings people together. You know, what I enjoy most about art is how everyone perceives it. You know, I think that is one of the most important things when people are observing art. You know, you mentioned that art brings people together. You know, so we could use your art here as an example. Everyone's going to look at your art and they're going to have something to say about it, right? But there's going to be some common things amongst each other that they will, you know, agree on, and things that they might not agree on. But collectively, it brought people together. So it achieved, you know, what you were trying to do, which was get people together to talk, conversate, whether it's positive, you know, love, spreading joy. That's usually the message here. And it is palpable within your work here. It's like it's definitely emulated throughout everything you do. So you know, you're definitely doing that when it comes to art. And you said you had left home and now you're here. Have you traveled any other places to spread your love and spread your work of art here?
Yes, I've been to some part of Africa, because Africa is a very large continent. I used to tell people they need to explore Africa, and Africa is a very nice place to see. Sometimes when you go on the social media, you see some other things like about Africa, but sometimes seeing is believing. I tell people Africa is not a jungle; it's a nice place. So I started from home because charity begins at home, and from there I've been able to get to some other part of the world, like South America, Brazil. I've been to
Wow.
University of Campinas to tell them more about art. I've been to some other part of Brazil as well, and I've also been to some other part of the West Africa,
Okay.
like Ghana, and also I've exhibited most of my works in Europe, even without my presence. And as a matter of fact, I'm planning to showcase most of my works in the nearest future in the European countries.
Wow. So you're planning to go into Europe and you're going to be taking yourself there, you and your family.
Yeah, yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
man, that is absolutely amazing. How surreal is it to be living out your dream, to be traveling to all these locations? Is this something that you thought that you'd be doing at a young age when you were younger? Did you foresee this future for you?
Yes, absolutely. I've always dreamed of going globally, and it's part of my dreams to explore the seven continent and also travel around the world, And while I'm traveling around the world, meeting people, connecting to people, telling them more about my work, spreading the gospel of love, spreading the gospel of art all over, it's very important to my life, and it's part of my dreams. And as a matter of fact, the dream is actually coming true.
That's absolutely amazing, man. Would you care to expand on maybe a moment that you shared with a bystander, someone who was just appreciating your art that really hit home, that really made you feel like, wow, like this is really happening right now? Have you had any experiences like that?
Can you come again, please?
Where you just maybe experience an emotion that you didn't expect from speaking to a peer about your work. Like, let's say someone is observing your work and they gave you a compliment that you just were like, wait, hold up, I never even thought that was possible. But it just like it's just one of those core memories of your work, like an appreciation that someone may have given you that you carry inside in your heart.
That's a good question. I could remember growing up as an artist. When I first started, I started from nothing to something. Like gathering recycled materials, putting them together to create a piece of art. Sometimes even if I have the money, I find it difficult to get the art stores that sells the acrylic, the oil, the paint we use. But I'm like, why waiting for the store to have all these things? It's not like here in America whereby you can actually get to some of the store, you definitely see all these things there. It's difficult to get art materials in Africa some years back, Let me say about a decade ago, As a matter of fact, I look around my environment and I started picking cookies wrappers, From there, I was able to get into using the tree bark.
Yes.
To create works of art. So I cut them into pieces like in form of mosaic, and I challenged myself. I decided to create a very large installation piece which is about 40 feet by 8 feet in dimension. Cut into puzzle like 2 feet each, combined together to create a very large piece. So I put all these things together just to tell my story, not even to sell. I'm not even looking at the marketing aspect of it. I'm looking at the message I'm trying to convey to people, which is from my team, O Sagacity. That has something to do with the Yoruba proverbs. I'm from the Yoruba ethnic group. We have 3 major languages that we speak, but I'm from the Yoruba tribe. So, and Yoruba is very unique culture, because we have a way of addressing issue with proverbs. What I mean by proverbs is adage.
Okay.
Like now you say that imonika koja gboran as chebi, which simply means that the nose is so wicked that you find it very hard to perceive the wicked person. And even the nice person, somebody who's going to do you good might be in front of you, and your nose might won't tell you, and somebody who will do you bad might even be in front of you, and your nose won't tell you. Those are the kind of way to also express message, and also the Yoruba proverbs also help you to solve out some issues going on around. For example, now, when you say, "Ojutuma asho bomo yemo omo yetiri woja," for example, what that actually means is that when an issue has gone out of hand, I've been able to put all these proverbs together. And there's another one which is very interesting among the work is that that one says that ẹni tó lórí ò ní fìlà, ẹni tó ní fìlà ò lórí, ẹni tó ní orí tó ní fìlà kò lójú, which simply means that the person who has a head does not have a heart, and the person who has a heart does not have a head, and a person who has a head and has a heart does not have a face, which simply means all fingers are not equal. So we are not created equally. Like what I mean,
That's
everybody have their own uniqueness.
Yeah.
You might be good at something and I might be good at other thing, So when I put all these works together, I put them to create this piece. And I exhibited the work in my first solo exhibition at the National Museum in Lagos, 2019. And a lot of people were like so drawn by this gigantic piece which I created. And they were like, "Is this for sale? I would like to buy one of the piece or two." I said, "It's not for sale." They keep on pressing me, and I was like, "Okay, let me sell this."
Yeah.
And out of over 24 pieces, I sold about 19 pieces.
Wow.
In a day.
Absolutely
And
amazing.
that was my eating point as an artist, So I said, what am I going to do with this money? Let me just find something like more challenging and more, appealing to people. Like, don't forget, I said I used the tree bark to create that piece.
I was gonna hope to get back to that. Yeah, let's talk about that.
So I used the tree barks to create that piece.
Yes.
So and I was like, this is the money
So
for
difficult.
me. Let me just do something with this money. And I started thinking of something more smaller than the tree bark pieces, which I stuck onto the background. Then that was when I discovered myself as a bead artist.
As a bead artist. Okay, so take me. I want to just expand a little bit more through the tree bark. How you started with the tree bark. How difficult was that? You said you had to like carve little pieces out of this tree bark and then basically put it together. Did you have to like treat the tree bark, if you would, like such as like heat it up to make it manipulate it to certain ways? Did you have to cold plunge it? Anything of the sort? I've never heard of tree bark art. That's why I'm like, wow, that's like absolutely insane. And especially to consider that that's what you started with because of the lack of resources and materials is just incredible to hear, man. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me a question about the process. As an artist, whatsoever you are creating should be something more friendly to mankind, not something that will cause chaos or cause and harm to nature. The tree bark that I use, I don't just go to the tree that is growing. I use the log of tree that is already cut down, So those are where I got my stuff from. I don't go to the tree and start removing the stuff, So I go to the trees that are not alive, the log of trees.
Yes.
And I peel them. When I peel them, I cut them using very strong scissors to cut them into like rectangular shape, sometimes into square shape. I take my time. I sort them out, and I try to clean them up. And I also use some kind of a fixative on it to prevent it and also to preserve it because it has to be durable. And even without all this preservative content, don't forget the trees itself is more like natural. The tree bark is always there. Some of the trees are over 100 years, over a century in the forest.
Older than you.
And they still have all those things there. So those are the way I do it. And I stuck them onto the background, try to create some kind of log of wood in 3D perspective from a two-dimensional, pieces, and when I put everything on the wall, you'll be able to see the 3D effect, which is part of the principle of art. I was able to treat the light, shade, and the shadow using the tree bark.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing, man. You really take your time with every piece of work. I can only imagine. And you said, it's art is something that shouldn't be stressing you out. It should bring joy to you. And if it's too complicated, then maybe you're doing the most. But you really get the joy of making it, the process of doing it, putting it together. I can only imagine how your head works, man. Because as you're putting these pieces together to make a full image, whether it be really, really small beads or tree bark, whatever the case may be, it is so intricate. The placement of every single thing has to be on the money, and you have to be able to envision that within your head while you're progressively going through it, and we'll definitely expand more on that, because I want to talk about your bead art, because you had mentioned that you started with the tree and then you went to bead art as your medium. Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you, were you inspired by any other artists, that do any other artists do anything such as this, beaded art? Because you're the only one that I've ever met or seen of or heard of.
Well, there's nothing new under heaven, and you are not the only thinker of an idea. There's somebody else somewhere else, thinking about the same thing you're thinking.
Yes.
But don't forget, before the history, we have the prehistoric art, whereby we have these people who are pace setter. They are very creative thinker, and that took me back to the prehistoric era, whereby there's nothing like technology. The prehistoric people look around and make use of what they found, in the forest to create works of art, and also to create something that will make life suitable for their living. And don't forget that the prehistoric people are the first set of people that invented a canoe to travel on a large body of water. Mm-hmm. They are the first set of people to discover us as a means of transportation. And even some of the herbs, some of the leaves, they put them together to create some kind of medicine, for cure purposes, And now that we are in the era of technology and, things are advancing, why can't I think and see what I can do that can make me to be a unique person? Mm-hmm. Because everyone is created with their gift. You just have to discover the gift by yourself. And when you discover your gift, you have to work towards it, not just keeping it to yourself. As a bead artist, don't forget my journey. I look around my environment. I see that nature has it first. Mm-hmm. I think like the prehistoric people, And as a matter of fact, when I have the fund, I was able to think again that what else can I do? I've not seen any art. There might be some artists. Later on, I find out about that. Because when I grew up in the ancient city of Shigwe, whereby we have this popular artist called Jima Brahma. Mm-hmm. He's a bead artist. And I was talking to someone a few days ago and said, that person asked me, did you pass through the school of Jima Brahma? I said, no, because my style is different. I didn't even know Jima Brahma because I grew up in the northern part of the country. Mm-hmm. And later on, I found out that he does beadwork, but it's of different style. So I discovered myself from the tree bark. And I challenged myself, what can I do again when I have the fund? Then I started buying bead, and that's how I find myself making use of bead to create works of art.
Do you mind me asking how old you were when you started the bead journey, when you started creating art such as this?
Well, I created my first piece using bead as a medium. I think that was 2017.
2017,
2017, wow. Not quite long, I don't know my age, then I have to do the math. So 2017, mm-hmm. When I did the work actually took me 3 months to complete.
Yes.
So when I did that work, I actually entered the work for an art competition. So when I did the work, I titled the work Hope Against Hope. So when I put the work for the competition, it made it to the final round, and I was impressed with the way people react to the work. And I said, okay, this is good. So let me do more of this. And that is why I find myself...
this is good. I just I keep looking at it, guys. This is crazy.
This is how I find myself using bead as a medium. And another thing I wanted to portray using bead is to tell my story. Tell my story about life. That everything starts with the subconscious mind.
Yes.
from within. Don't forget, art does not have a specific definitions, but we have this general definition for art, which simply says that art can be self-expression of inner feelings. Before you can create any works of art, you have to think about it from your mind. Like, okay, this is what I want to do. For example, you want to jump. You already have it in your brain that you want to jump. Then you jump, right? So if you want to create a piece, sometimes you have the picture of what you want to do, the abstract form from within, and you try to pour it out. So I believe that each bead that I use in my work is to relay a message about the significance of every individual.
Okay.
That everyone is very important. No matter where you come from, no matter who you are, you're very important. So, and when you put all those beats together, it's like putting all the voice together, and that speaks a lot of volume. And that is why when people see my work, they stare at it and be like, how come you have the patience to put all these things together? I was like, I started from one beat to millions of beats, and because I want the volume, of my voice to be heard. So that is one of the reasons why I found beat very interesting, and I'm loving it.
I could see that, especially correlating with society, how you mentioned how all these individual pieces, they're so important. They come together and they create this large image here, which is just screaming the message, screaming the voice, screaming whether it be your life, your story, patience, perseverance. I could see that in correlation with human life, where I know you and I were speaking, you had mentioned the subconscious mind, that's something that comes from within, and it's so important for you to envision and see that and just know that all together it makes the entire thing stronger, So if you use that and look at it in a society standpoint, especially with the chaotic, mess that this world is in right now, it could really, people could benefit a lot by hearing your story, and observing your art and putting two and two together. Because I remember speaking to you on the first Friday, and it was just like every single piece comes together to create this whole big image. And you were like, there it is. You were like, you got it. You understand.
Yes.
I understood your message immediately. I
Yes.
just like, it was absolutely insane. I remember looking at one piece, which was I picked a flower. Okay. No, it's called Just For You. Excuse me. Just for you.
Okay.
Just For You. And I remember like just looking at it, I'm like, I picked a flower. Just for you. I'm like, wow. I'm like, brilliant. And you didn't even
Explain it to you.
No, exactly. You didn't explain it to me.
You're able to get the message.
I got the message, and I'm a huge fan of titled pieces of work because the title can give you just a little smidge for you to find out what the artist is trying to portray through the art. And the title was Just For You. And if you saw the image, if you saw what I'm referring to, the individual who he had conjured up is holding a flower. So it was just like, I picked a flower. Just for you, just for you. Absolutely insane, man.
Yeah, that is what art does. Art is an unspoken language, and it's a universal language which everybody understands. Be it realistic or in abstract or semi-abstract, we always speak. It's an unspoken word. Just look at a piece; it's gonna speak to you, and that is one of the uniqueness about art. And don't forget, if you don't know how to speak the Chinese language or any language, just create a work of art that will reach out to the world, and they will to get a message.
That's a great way to put it, yeah, because you don't have to speak the language. People can observe it and they can understand where you were coming from. It brings me back to hearing stories about other individuals going to a foreign country, and they might not be able to speak the language, but they know the hand signals. Everybody knows what food is. If you're hungry, we have hand signals. If you're tired, stuff like that. So there are ways to communicate without physically communicating. So it's absolutely amazing, man. I love your art. So
Thank you.
the bead, it just like you decided to elevate your game. You went from tree bark to beads, and your beaded work is absolutely amazing. And there's just a few of them that I really want to hear the story, the process, the inspiration. And it has to be your sculptures. Your sculptures, guys, like these sculptures, you'll see it. It's going to be overlaid, I swear. But your sculptures, man, they are absolutely beautiful. We have an owl. We have a swan. The swan is whoo. And then we have an eagle, So I'm really curious as to how you forge it. It seems like it's a from the ground up, from scratch. You cultivated these pieces,
Everything.
and it's mesmerizing. I want to know how long it takes. Your process. If there's one that's your favorite, feel free to start off with that one. But I really want to hear about those pieces because they're mind blowing.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the three pieces, and because the three works together. The first one which I did, most of the three pieces which I did are from recycled materials. I build them up from the scratch using the scrap. Then I wrap it up with my beads. And I have three pieces. The first one is a swan, which is very significant to my transition from from Africa to America.
Okay, how so? Why is that?
So it's a flying flying swan, flying from the ocean or flying from the water with a splash of water, and I titled the word Grace.
Mm-hmm.
Why grace? Getting American visa is not an easy thing. And this is part of the message I want people to understand. Don't forget what I said. As an artist, want to expand my voice. I know I have to get to America because America is one of the most populated continent in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the message of my heart is spreading the message. The reason why I'm doing this art is spreading the message for people to hear and also to understand, because that is how we can make the world a better place. And I'm like, how do I get to America? I find it very difficult. And when I got here, I tell people, I said, you are born here or you are American citizen, you don't know the kind of grace you carried or you have.
Okay.
Because there are some certain things. I love my continent. Africa is nice, a very good place, and we are good people, great nations, great continent, But there are some certain things that we don't have, like, that's every country have their own advantage and disadvantages in a way. But I'm like, okay, eventually, after a very long walk to gaining the freedom to secure the American visa, I was able to possess a wing to fly.
Mm-hmm.
For you to fly, you need a wing. You need a wing. And what is my wing? Is my heart. Heart can take you to places.
Mm-hmm.
So when I secure my visa, so during the process of waiting for the U.S. Embassy to call me for the interview, because the interview is 50-50, either yes or no. I was there 2017, I was not given.
Wow. Okay.
So, and year 2022, I had another appointment. While waiting for the appointment date, I started creating this piece. Because art is spiritual.
Okay.
It talks about the past, the present, and it also predicts the future. And I see that work as a transformation to my life. So I started creating this work, and I created a swan with the wings, which is flying out of the ocean, like flying across the ocean.
Insane.
I see myself flying. So because I've been walking that long walk to freedom, and when I gained the wings, eventually I finished the piece. I was called upon for the interview, and I got the visa. So I titled the word Grace. It's showing my transitions flying across the oceans to another place. That is what the first piece is all about.
See, the spiritual aspect to it. Let me ask you, do you feel like you creating that piece somehow, some ways, universally affected your outcome the second time you spoke to the U.S. ambassador?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. That is exactly what I'm trying to manifest, what I want as a person. I'm trying to manifest it through the heart, that this is what I actually want. I'm trying to create the wing. And I'm seeing that thing like a kind of a message and also a prayer point to get what I deserve or what I wanted, as an artist. So when I finished the piece, I titled it Grace. So lo and behold, I got the visa. And why still waiting before I got the visa? Yeah. And the second piece, which I did that using some methods from the scratch as well. and this title, Here I Come, is an eagle.
Yes.
The second piece.
The eagle.
The eagle is in form of a landing eagle. Here I come. I see that.
This is crazy. I'm getting it. Continue.
I see that as a piece that that is all about my transitions from Africa to America and landing on the soil of America.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a landing eagle who is trying to capture something. And why do I title the piece Here I Come? Anywhere you are, you let people feel your presence. Don't feel inferior. Let them know that you are there. And, don't feel inferior. Just be valuable to the society you find yourself. Don't just be there for nothing. So when I got here, I have already projected my first solo exhibition in America. I've been doing solo exhibition, even sponsor, without sponsor, for like a couple of years before I had my transition year. My first solo exhibitions was themed sagacity, here, there, everywhere.
I want to talk about that as well.
So my first solo exhibition, here, there, everywhere, is starting as an artist. I'm here. I want to take it there. And I also want to take this art everywhere. So the second one was inspired by love. Mm-hmm. That is, whatsoever you are doing, you have to create that passion first. You have to be passionate about it. You need passion to keep going. Even if you don't sell your artwork, you don't need to be worried. One day you make sales, because some people do come into art, and when they don't even sell any of their pieces, they give up. So you need passion first to do anything, and you build your name first. Once you build your name, you're passionate about what you're doing, all of that thing will follow suit. So the third one, which I did, I did that, I think I did the exhibition in, the third one is the one in America.
Osaka City, correct?
Osagacity, yes.
Osagacity, okay.
Yes, no, the third one actually is in my hometown. Because don't forget, I say charity begins at home. You have to be a reasonable person at home before you talk to people, even from outside, how to address some issue. So I titled that one, Sagacity, Here, Home, Hood, and Heritage. So that shows that as an artist, before I start taking my artwork beyond my domain or beyond my territory, my people need to understand what I'm into. I have to show my people first. So then I had my transition for the fourth one. And I said, this show is going to be, Sagacity, Here I Come. It's like saying America, here I come. So the landing eagle portray my presence in America.
What amazing!
And I put up the show together, and I had my fourth one here in America, precisely in Scranton, at the Artworks Gallery and Studio, and it was a fantabulous show. It attracted a lot of audience, and they were able to hear my story. I was able to tell my story. Yes, and the third one, which is the How, is
the owl. Yes.
Yeah, is a kind of emotions whereby is not really spreading the wings, and is flying and is moving at a certain equilibrium. I call it tranquility. It's more like the stability. When you get to a certain part in life, you settle, you feel comfortable, and you keep on going without stress. So that is what those three pieces entails.
That's amazing, because I have in my notes here, like, I was like, flying, soaring, common theme. Why are these themes attracted to you so much? But you just gave a lovely explanation as to, in a sense, these birds are an extension of yourself. And it's an extension of your story, an extension of yourself. What state, what part of the world you've been in, just who you are as a person at that time. I think about certain things like tattoos, okay? I think about tattoos and I'm like, okay, like, the certain tattoo brings me back to a place in my life where I can remember where I was doing what I was doing. In a sense, very much so, these birds, these images, these pieces of art are literally who you are, what you're doing at that time, and where you've been in your life. So, it's absolutely amazing to hear that. I was not expecting that response. I thank you very much for going into detail with explaining those pieces, man. It's absolutely amazing.
Those three birds are very symbolic. Don't forget, swan is a symbol of hope and grace. Mm-hmm. And the eagle is a symbol of a vision of strength. As a visionary artist,
yes.
I used to see, ahead. I try to to see stuff ahead and plan ahead. Like the show, don't forget what I told you, that I've been doing a solo show over some couple of years now. I think I've done the Osagacity 1 to 5, and the sixth one is coming up soon. So I had this a vision long time ago. That was around 2015 when I said I want to do a show for myself. I started writing letters to top galleries in Africa, to give me a space to show my work. And unfortunately, I didn't even get any response back. And I was like, what? What is going on here? Okay, I don't need these people. Sometimes you have to carry yourself before people carry you.
I'm the same way, my guy. I think the same way, man.
So I put this 1 and 2 together. I said, let me sponsor my show by myself. Then 2015, I couldn't do it. 2016, I couldn't do it. 2017, I couldn't do it. 2018, I couldn't do it. And I said, this 2019, if this is going to be my only goal, one goal, I have to achieve it. And I put all my resources together and I sponsor my first solo exhibition.
Wow.
So when I do that, even before I sponsor my first solo exhibition, I said I want to run this show for 10 years. So I'm prepared for the 10 years.
Yeah.
I said 10 years nonstop. So I sponsored the first solo exhibition and the turnout was great. And the outcome was great. I exhibited about 77 pieces of my artworks, which I've been working on while waiting to get a space to exhibit my work. Don't forget, I said 2015. So I selected out of those pieces which I've been creating for over 5 years.
Yeah.
And I put it together at the National Museum, and it was a great show. Then after that, I said, yeah, I'm good to go. The following year, I received some mails from some galleries and say, okay, guy, we saw what you're doing. We want to have you now.
It's the same, the ones that you possibly reached out to, right? Wow, look at that.
They want to have.
It's the way it goes, man.
Yeah. And shout out to Top Pyramid Art Gallery in Abuja. It's one of the biggest gallery in Nigeria.
Yes.
I want to appreciate Mr. Jeff for giving me the avenue to showcase my work. And in fact, it was a great show, and I sold about 85% of my works there.
Wow, man. I can only imagine how fast your work goes, man, because it's so unique, man. It's mesmerizing to look at, and I just love it so much, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. So, what was I going to ask you? I had a beautiful thought, and I forgot it. I hate when I do this. Sometimes I lose my train of thought. We were talking about the sculptures, the bird. Okay, so, you had mentioned, My question was excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it, but Osaga City, correct? Osaga City. What is the significance of that word? Is that an actual place in the world? Or is it something that you self-generated and it means something to you?
Yeah, Osagacity is self-generated. The whole there is Olaniyi's work. Olaniyi.
Okay.
That is me.
Mm-hmm.
And O there is like when you make a noise. Oh, is one of the way of like calling attentions, trying to tell people to come and listen to you, because you have something to relate to them or you have a message for them. That is a whole there. And the sagacity is gotten from the Yoruba philosophy. It's more like the sage, the wise saying words, understanding the positivity about life and how you can also learn from the Owe Yoruba. The whole also symbolizes the Owe Yoruba, which is the Yoruba proverbs.
Okay.
Yes, because Owe actually starts with O. So it has 3 things there. Don't forget, you can refer the whole as Olaniyi's works. You can also refer the whole as calling people attention. Like when you say ho, that's how we call attention in Africa. And the third part is the Owe Yoruba, which is the Yoruba proverbs.
Wow, man.
And the sagacity is derived from the wise saying, the sage, the positivity about life. So, and I depicted a piece which I created 2015. I titled the work The Sage, which is gotten from the Yoruba philosophy, which says that lowe lan lulu agidigbo ologbo lonjo omoralomo, which simply means that agidigbo drum is beaten proverbially. It takes the wise to understand and the sage to dance to it.
You're brilliant. I love these proverbs. I really do appreciate them. I want to hear more about them, man. I really do. I really do. What is a top proverb that you probably wake up to and it's just like stuck and ingrained to you every day that you wake up? Is there one that you like let's just say Christianity, a lot of people use John 3:16. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
because it's very simple. For God so loved the world.
verdad, yeah, you know. But is there one in your heritage and your culture that you embody and that you stick to each and every day you wake up?
Yeah, that's a lot, but I think I have one in specific. Like when you say "Ojú tó bá máa bá ní kalẹ̀ kì í tààrọ̀ ṣèpè," it means that the highs that is going to like be with you for long, that's going to withstand the test of time with you, will not start shedding tears in the morning. So what I'm trying to say is this: like when you are with people and you pay attention, you can easily understand them more better. Is this the kind of person I can work with? Is this the kind of person I should like caution myself, in dealing with? Because life is full of different kind of people. I'm very tolerant of people, but at the same time, I'm unconscious of my environment, the kind of people I deal with. We used to say that, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. The kind of calibers of friends you move with determine the kind of person you are.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that has helped me because my dad taught me, like, the person you work with or friends you move out with, will determine how your life will be. Those who walk with the wise will be wise, and those who walk with the fool will be fool.
Yes, yes, you are a product of your environment.
Yes.
Is what we say. You are a product of your environment. And that's one of those things that, I can definitely attest to because and where I grew up personally, a lot of people may consider it quote unquote the ghetto. Okay. To me, it wasn't ghetto at all. I was hanging around with the people who would just ride bicycles. We go around town, play some basketball. We had a great time. Most certainly it could be perceived as a ghetto, but it's also who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with. If you're going to hang out with those fools, as you said, you more than likely will pick up on their habits and become a fool with them. Mm-hmm. If you stay out of trouble, keep your nose clean, and stay with the good people, you're going to have a joyful life and you should remain out of trouble. And for me, that is literally what has happened growing up. And, when I tell them that I'm from that area, they'll be like, ooh, it's so bad. I'm like, really? Like, I mean, look at me. I'm not a representation. I am from that area, and your representation, your thought process of that area, I am a product of there. You're just looking at the negative side rather than the positive, So that's one of those things that I have to talk to people a lot, especially when I go back to my hometown and just mention the development I'm from, by the way, is called PCP, a Pocono country place. PCP, the actual PCP is a drug. It's a literal drug, okay? But they put A in front of it, which makes it a community, right? So if you just go to anyone and you say, hi, I'm from PCP, they're going to give you like a, whoa, hey, like that's a drug. Like, whoa, relax, And it's like, no. I'm from a Pocono country place. So, it's just one of those things that, I could resonate and relate to with what you're saying.
And sometimes those who think they are wise, they are not even wise.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
And sometimes the people you think they are fool, they are the wisest. Is a philosophy about life.
It's man, I have stories. I'm glad you mentioned that, man. There are just people who everyone. It's hard to say, but everyone has a prejudgment of someone, and then you start speaking to them, and then it's like, oh my goodness, you don't look presentable, but you are a genius. I've had a conversation with someone at a food truck who just didn't look presentable. But man, did this man know architecture? He knew architecture. He knew buildings. He's traveled, and I'm like, wow. Like, I would have never thought, as you just said, he looks as if he's one of those fools, but in all reality, he's just a common dude who maybe has a simpler wear of clothes, and really understands life, not so much for the materialistic things, but for the value of what life actually is.
Yes. And don't forget what I said earlier, that is why art has been able to help me to balance things in a way, understanding things from different perspectives. For example, don't forget I made mention of all fingers are not equal. So either in one way or the other, you might know something that I don't know. I might know something that you don't know. Mm-hmm. Everybody have their own uniqueness. So that is why the art is very important, because it makes you to understand life better.
May we talk about your art here? Maybe we got a few minutes here. What are some of the pieces that you brought here today? Maybe talk about inspiration and just how long each piece took you individually.
Well, this piece I have here, the one I have over here, actually took me almost like a month to complete. Not full time, but if I'm to work on this piece full time, probably like 1 week, I should be done with it. It's a piece which I title My Rider.
My rider. Okay.
Yes, my rider is somebody that stay with you in the times of thick and thin, and when you are happy, they are happy. When you're sad, they are sad too. That's the power in the piece. Like the power of friendship, the power of love, and that is what is actually happening there. And don't forget, we are in the contemporary era whereby people are into fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Louis Vuitton, I have the Gucci.
Yes, sir.
So I try to combine both abstract and realism into my work. I'm a kind of person that love fashion. So that's what I'm
see that.
that's what I'm trying to portray there. Putting realism and abstract into my work. Because I do both realism and abstract. So it's an African hearing they have on over there.
Yes.
That's also to show the connectivity, as an African artist, and that also reflects on my work. So that's what is there.
Rider. It brings me to an American phrase, ride or die, ROD, ride or die. It's your companion, Like Michael is my ride or die, right? Love you. I love you. We may not dress alike all the time, but you're my ride or die, my friend. No, I love this. I can understand, just with the fashion, it's absolutely amazing.
I don't, if you look at them very well, they are also moving at the same, equilibrium. They carry each other along.
Yes, they're conjoined.
Yeah,
they're conjoined right there, and they both have a flower as well for each other.
Yeah.
Now, the piece right behind you, what is that one called, if you don't mind me asking?
That is my other half.
Okay, my other half. Okay.
Yes. It's 1 + 1 = 1. That is the love language there. 1 + 1 = 1.
I love it, dude. I really do.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, in your relationship, there's gonna be some kind of inner parts there. It's not everything you put outside there, because that is where you can maintain the oneness, the togetherness. That's actually what's going on there. You see half and the other half there, it's equal 1, not 2.
Yep. I see it entirely, man. And inspiration for that, was that maybe like some self-love or partnership that maybe inspired that piece for you? The inspiration.
The inspirations there is like as a man in Africa, we usually see men as a strong person when it comes to love and relationship. I'm not saying the women are weak. I'm not going to say that, because women have been a very supporting body for my career, and most of the things that I do, in fact, women have been very kind to me, supporting my heart here and there, even my mother as well, as a person, But in African culture, we see man as number one in the family, as the head, while we see the woman as the neck. And don't forget, without the neck, the head cannot hold.
I love your phrases, man. I really do. They're brilliant.
Yes. So the head cannot hold. If you look at the image very well, you see the man, and the piece behind me, in front, is trying to protect the woman. That I got you. That is what is happening there. So anything that is coming, I will be the one to face it first. It's like when somebody come knock at your home at the middle of the night. If you are with your spouse will be, honey, can you please go and open the door?
Stay here.
Yes, that's where it should be. It's talking about being the responsible person. Yeah, that's what's going on.
It's an aggressive love. It's a positive love. It's like if someone comes knocking at your door at midnight, if you're there with your spouse, you're not expecting, stay here. Like don't come with me, And you're like, okay, like I want to be here.
Yeah,
I get it.
And if you also look at the work very well, you see that the lady is also leaning on the man there, the guy there. It's more like lean on me. That means you can count on me. That's what is happening there.
holding him tight as well. You know, that's a
Mm-hmm.
true. You know, it just shows love and companionship. Both of these pieces show love and companionship. So
Yes.
I do have an appreciation for that. And on the left there, we have a portrait.
Yes. Like I said earlier, I said the women are very unique people to have in the society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes they say they are necessary devil. You know, I actually did that piece for my wife, and her name is Oyin Konshola. You know, and she loved fashion too. I actually put that Louis Vuitton dress on her. You know, because I was trying to make my work more original.
Mm-hmm.
I did that piece year 2020, you know. So, and that piece, you can see, has traveled to different exhibitions. I love to show her a lot. You know, she has been a good motivator, you know, good support to my career, and she's very encouraging. And, you know, I said she deserved this. Even as an artist, I find it very hard to even create my self-portraiture. So I said, let me do this for her, you know, just to show some kind of appreciation and how much I care and how much I love her, you know. And the piece actually being one of my favorite pieces, you know, it's not for sales. There was the time somebody said, I just want to buy this. I said, okay, this is my wife here. It's not for sales. It's priceless. This piece is priceless, you know. But the message there is this. I have one of my self-portraiture that was done by one of my apprentice. They did this portraiture for me with a crown horn, and part of the crown is missing. So later on, I was like, okay, maybe when I get married someday, you know, I'm going to create the missing piece there. So if you look at the background, there's a missing piece. So if you put the portraiture together with what was given to me as a gift, it blends in together.
That is awesome. That is amazing.
Yes. So I didn't give her all my crown. I only give her a little bit.
Yeah. She deserves a piece, right?
Yeah,
she deserves a piece.
There's a piece.
Very much so. Sunday, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We're at the 1 hour marker here. We're going to start winding down on the show. But before we get off the air here, I wanted to see if there was anything you wanted to leave the viewers with, any upcoming shows that you would like to let the people know that you're going to be around, maybe just your social media where they can find you. If there's any final messages, the floor is yours. Feel free, man. Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, anyway, I have a show coming up in New York at 72 Warren Street. That's going to be on the 5th of June to the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. You know, in New York, you can check out my work in person. You'll be able to feel the colors. You'll be able to feel the texture. You'll be able to feel the tenacity in my work. You'll be able to feel the message. And, you know, another thing I also want to tell people out there is that keep creating, especially artists, keep creating art. And whatsoever you are creating, make sure they are not causing chaos to mankind, you know, and don't give up on your dream. Be passionate, and one day the table will turn.
One day the table will turn, as it did for you with the extension of the birds and the manifestation, man. I absolutely love that explanation of everything. I really enjoyed this conversation. You are a brilliant individual. I've heard some phrases I've never heard before. I think my favorite one had to be, if you have a head, you don't have a heart. If you don't have a heart, if you have a heart, you don't have a head. And what was that third part that you said?
What I mean, the hat I'm talking about, maybe it's my accent. I'm talking about the hat you put on your head.
Oh, hat. Okay, my apologies. My apologies.
Like what you have on the table there. You know, so some people have head, they don't have the hat. We call it cap in Africa. You know, when I got to America, people say hat. You know, maybe that is why my accent is different. We call it cap. Those who have the head does not have the cap, and those who have the cap does not have the head. And those who have the head and have the cap does not have the face.
Wow.
All fingers are not equal.
Excellent, man. I absolutely love it. Sunday, thank you so much for joining me here on the Middleman Podcast. Everyone, make sure you check out Sunday Olaniyi's work. It's absolutely insane. It's beautiful. Cop a piece, buy a piece, or just observe the art because the message is clear. It's screaming off the canvas. So please make sure that you check it out. And as for everyone watching the show, we really appreciate you. Thank you very much. I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing out. Peace.
Thank you.